Foreign Minister Wang Yi says China sees itself as a force for peace and stability in the world, despite the current global turmoil. Wang Yi was speaking in Beijing on the sidelines of the two sessions, where he touched on relations with the United States and the European Union.
But his strongest comments were delivered on the 5-month-long conflict in Gaza. Wang said the world's inability to stop the bloodshed in Gaza was a tragedy for humanity and a disgrace for civilization. Our correspondent Dong Xue reports from Beijing.
The conference hall was packed as Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi reviewed China's foreign policy during the ongoing two sessions. Wang Yi touched upon China's relations with major countries as well as regional hotspot issues amid global tensions and crises in Gaza, Ukraine, and elsewhere. Wang Yi said despite the turbulence the world is facing, China will continue to be a force of peace and stability. He described the situation in Gaza as a human tragedy and civilizational disgrace, adding that nothing justifies the protraction of conflict and the killing of civilians.
生命没有贵贱之别。
There is no distinction between noble and humble lives, and life should not be labeled as per faith or religion. The failure to end such a humanitarian disaster in these times, in the 21st century, is a tragedy for humanity and a disgrace for human civilization.
On ties with the United States, Wang said Washington should take an objective and rational view of China's development and honor its commitments on China-U.S. ties. The relations, according to Wang, have improved since last year's meetings between the two presidents in San Francisco. However, the Biden administration's latest move to curb Chinese electrical vehicles shows the seriousness of challenges in stabilizing one of the world's most important bilateral relations.
The challenge for the U.S. comes from within, not from China. If it is obsessed with suppressing China, it will only hurt itself.
As for the EU, Wang announced that China will adopt a visa-free policy for 6 European countries, including Switzerland, Ireland, and Austria, starting March 14th, in a clear signal that China is willing to strengthen ties. Wang Yi said the EU should consider China as a partner, but not as a competitor or rival. On artificial intelligence governance, Wang said China's contribution aims to ensure benefits for all, apart from safety and fairness. Cooperation among major countries is important, he said, and is helping developing countries in their efforts at making progress. Wang said China will soon submit to the UN a draft proposal on establishing international cooperation to enhance technology sharing and leaving no country behind. For the most part, China's two sessions usually focus on the country's domestic policies, but there's always an intense global scrutiny of the proceedings, especially on the direction of Chinese foreign policy. Well, this nearly 2-hour session is being closely watched at home and abroad, as Beijing's diplomacy has become increasingly influential in recent years, from its successful mediation of a rapprochement between rivals Saudi Arabia and Iran to its continued push for peace in Ukraine and Gaza. Foreign Minister Wang Yi says China will continue to act as a responsible power to help build a community with a shared future. Dong Xue, CGTN, Beijing.